Relative Dimension presents The Forsaken Frontier, an actual play podcast using Deadlands 20th Anniversary Edition by Pinnacle Entertainment Group. At the front of the room, on the other side of the row of tables, there's a few people that some of you recognize, some of you know by name, but you've never met them formally. There's William Smith, who's the head of the Circle L Ranch, Charlie Pierce, who's head of Lazy 8 Ranch, Clayton Bowen, who's head of Froze to the Bone Ranch. There's also Henry Thorpe, who is the saloon owner. He's sitting back there. Doc Zachary Ross is sitting back there. Clement Marks, who runs the Frosty Gazette, the town newspaper, is sitting back there. And as Ira Bradley walks in with Jalen, Ira detours and goes and takes a seat back there. And there's one more empty seat. And 2 minutes before 10, another gentleman walks in there, and it's Lawrence Nichols, who is he runs the bank. And Lowell speaks up. We're here to discuss this hanging and what we should do about it. There's a bit of crime going on. I've just been informed that there was also a shooting last night. We have one dead body. We are looking to see if we could discover the identity of this person. And he kind of glances at the sheriff. Now, I know our sheriff is a bit short-handed, so do we wish to consider appointing a marshal at this time? And she kind of speaks up. I actually have a deputy now, so things should be getting a little better. I see. Well, if we don't get this settled, we might still have to do something. Until now, we haven't had that much crime of this nature either. True, but things are getting a little too strange around here. We also have to discuss the nature of... And he kind of looks around, and he looks at Father James. Father James.
Yes.
How has your congregation been going since you've arrived in town? And you have several people visit church Sundays.
Well, I do believe that I have a sizable membership from the township and the outlying farms and ranches, so I do believe that it's doing well.
I see. So there's no objections to making it official? No objections here. He kind of looks around, and other people start shaking their head. I see. Well then, I have a few questions to ask you that I have been given as sort of a gauge of your capabilities professionally. And he starts asking you he reads off from a sheet a few religious questions about Bible verses and things like that. And this is basically a test of your skill. What is your rank in professional theology?
It is a 4. I'm sorry, it's a 4.
Okay. Do you also by chance have the edge of religious rank?
I do.
Okay. So after a few questions, they're more generalized knowledge things. Basically, getting a sense of what you know and stuff like that. And you seem to meet the requirements. Very well. Since there are no objections, and you do seem to meet the qualifications that we were left to ask on the replacement from the previous preacher, we have no problems with making this official and making your hiring official. After the meeting, we will make sure you get the keys to the parsonage. Thank you.
Thank you, kind sir. And I bow to him and the congregation, or the people present here, I should say.
A lot of them are part of the congregation. All right. Now the important thing. Did anybody see this hanging happening? And nobody says anything. People are looking around at others in the room. Nobody saw it. Dr. Ross. And Dr. Ross, who is the dentist, stands up. Yes, well, nobody saw the need to fetch me right away, but I did manage to get a look at the body before he was buried. He was strangled some time before the hanging. The hanging didn't cause the damage around his neck nor the death. So somebody definitely wanted him dead well enough to, I should say, wanted him seen well enough to put him on that tree after he was hanged, which is a very, very godless deed. Indeed. And was there any evidence as to who that might have been? None that we have been able to find. There's been a bit of an old rope that was still left on the body, but that didn't say anything one way or the other. I see. All right, so we have a murderer with no evidence. Nobody saw it happen. I propose that we mount a posse to patrol the town to keep an eye on wrongful deeds that may be going on. Perhaps if this had been done yesterday, we may have been able to find out who these shooters were last night. A few people kind of murmur about that. And then somebody walks in from outside. He looks very, very travel-worn, sweaty, as though he's been very active recently. And he walks up to the table and kind of interrupts Mr. Lowell mid-sentence and kind of leans over and says something into his ear. I see. I apologize, everybody. I must be getting back to my ranch. It seems something has happened to one of my employees. Dr. Ross, will you please accompany me? And a lot of people are starting to look a little curious at this point. What about the meeting? The meeting is adjourned until further notice. And he starts to walk out. Well, that's odd. That they usually don't end the meeting early. I wonder what happened, says somebody from one of the chairs next to you guys.
Maybe they're having a meeting to discuss the meeting.
Something. I'm gonna walk over to the sheriff.
She is standing up.
That was a bit of a weird ending.
Sorry, she is standing up as you're walking over to her.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll say that was a bit of a weird ending.
Yes, it was, and it doesn't look good. Mr. Lowell, and he stops. Miss Dale, you should accompany me too, I think. Yes, I think I will. And she turns to you. Well, might as well start sometime. You have a horse?
You have a what? You got cut off.
Do you have a horse?
Wait, do I have a horse? I just didn't even think about it. Wait, I bought a horse earlier. Yeah, I think I did have a horse, didn't I?
I don't remember.
No, actually, wait. No, by the time he ended up in town, I think he went with like a caravan or something like that. I don't think he was on a horse. So no, he doesn't have a horse at the moment. Okay. Actually, never got around to getting one since I got into town. I suppose I could.
Jalen calls out a little bit and says, hey, is it about that feller that got away last night? Well, I mean, yesterday? It was yesterday, wasn't it?
It was last night.
It was last night because it was getting dark.
Yeah,
that's what
I thought.
Mr. Lowell stops and looks at you. Fella that got away? I don't think so.
One of the shooters was hurt.
Was he now? I don't think this is related, but it might be. And the sheriff looks over. My deputy doesn't have a horse yet. Do you mind loaning us the use of one of your, or can he ride in your carriage? Yes. I'll catch up with you. Evan, why don't you ride along with him? I'll catch up. And he goes out and starts to get into his carriage, and he'll let you in.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I'll be getting a horse rather soon, I believe.
What about the rest of you?
Is the meeting over?
Yes, the meeting is adjourned.
Then, yeah, walking out, and since I have rest of the day, I guess. I don't know.
Actually, I will be right back.
Free time. What do you do with it?
What does she do with the free time? All she does is work all day. What's at the theater?
This early in the morning? Nothing.
Well, the meeting started at 10. How quickly did it end?
It's about 11 now.
Fine.
They had a lot more to go through, you guess, by the seriousness of everybody that was there. The gentleman that came in is sitting at the bar, though.
All right, let's go to the bar.
He seems to be catching his breath and waiting for a drink.
Order a drink and just look over at him and say, "Are you okay, sir?"
Oh, yeah, just had a hard ride getting here.
What was the rush?
Oh, Steve died. Had to tell Mr. Lowell. Figured he'd want to know.
I'm sorry to hear about your friend Steve. How did he die?
I don't. And he gets a quick look on him, and he dives for a spittoon and starts to vomit.
Oh, my.
I think that poor man has the consumption.
Well, you would know.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So I'll kind of just wait for him to gather himself, and if he's finished his drink, I'll be nice enough to order him another one. And then when he's collected himself, so how exactly did your friend die?
I don't rightly know, but it was bad.
Oh, okay. Sir, I'm trying to give comfort, but you're really not making it easy. When did your friend die?
He seems to get that look on his face like he's maybe going to retch again, and he forces it down. Sometime overnight, I guess. I found him this morning.
Well...
And then he kind of holds his hand up and goes back to the spittoon.
Would it be too much to say that LP overheard that?
I don't think it'd be too much to say. He wasn't trying to be discreet about it. And his retching in the spittoon is definitely drawing attention.
Right? Yeah.
Well, at the second round of retching, a sound that LP is no stranger to, he will amble over with his half-finished bottle of whiskey and his empty coffee cup, lean heavily against the bar as the man continues to fill the spittoon. Now, if I was a betting man, and I am a betting man, I would believe that when you found your friend, it was a surprise because you heard nothing previous to that. Would that be correct in my surmising?
Yeah, we didn't hear anything.
And judging by your loving embrace of that spittoon there, I believe that it was rather graphic, perhaps.
Oh, yeah.
And so now we have 2 peculiar murders in the span of 3 days where nothing was heard and the bodies were presented, so to speak. And now the sheriff...
I don't know about presented. We found him in bed. He was supposed to be one of the ones that took the cattle out to the field today, and he didn't show up after everybody came into town, so we went looking to see what happened to him and found him in bed, blood everywhere.
Well, how did he die, though?
He kind of holds his stomach and looks down at it, and looks like he's going to get sick again, so he stops.
Did it look like a wolf got to him?
Maybe if the wolf, I don't know. He had a big hole in his stomach.
Somebody's going to look at the gentleman that's now also questioning this young man. It looked like a gunshot, and your friend...
No gunshot I've ever seen.
Gunshot you've ever seen. Well, Liberty's become a very dangerous town, considering we've now had 2 murders and an attempted murder.
And one self-defense shooting, if my memory serves, miss.
Well, I don't count that one. That was in self-defense.
Well, yes, but it is a strange happening. My manners seem to have fled me. My name is Leander Calloway, recently never you mind. I noticed that you have been a figure of some repute, miss.
Repute? Well, I'm Sunday McBride, but most call me Sonny, and I don't see how I am a figure of repute.
Well, Miss McBride, Sonny, pardon me, you may call me LP, by the way. You happen to see something on the barroom floor just in time for a bullet to narrowly miss your guts. You gave chase to the rather ephemeral figure of a woman who then disappeared in the thin air, being then replaced by 3 gunmen one of which you have dispatched most expertly. And yet, you have had nothing to do with any of the strange happenings around this town. Now, if I'm a betting man, and as I said I am, I believe your name is going to enter this hat once again when the posse returns from that man's ranch.
I didn't string up that man in that tree, and the only person I killed was the one that shot at me.
Now, Sonny, I did not say that you have killed anybody except the man that you have rightly shot in self-defense. However, something seems to be a brewing about you, and I aim to find out what.
She's gonna level him with a hard look, finish her drink, stand up. There's no great mystery to me. All I do is stay in this terrible town and work, sun up to sunrise. That's it. Ask anybody. So how about you look at other people that might actually have done these horrible crimes? And she'll start to walk away.
LP will let her go.
At that moment, a lady, youngish lady, working out, dressed rather poorly, comes walking in. Her eyes are kind of red. Has anybody seen the sheriff? She's not in her office.
She just left, ma'am.
She left again?
Apparently one of the ranchers needed her help.
But Freddie never came home last night.
Your husband, ma'am?
My betrothed. He said he'd be home a little late, but he said he'd be home. He never came home.
I'll help you look for him if you need. Where was he last seen?
She kind of motions off to the east side. Out at the tents. He said he was coming into town for business, for something, and that he wouldn't be too late. We have a tent out there.
Tell me, did Freddie have any other individuals that he was doing his business with last night?
He didn't tell me anybody else was with him.
I see. And
I think we're all kind of exchanging looks right now.
well, I wasn't.
Some are giving, some are taking.
He didn't happen to come into town armed, did he? I mean, it is dangerous and all, but one never knows.
No, Freddie doesn't have a gun that I know of.
Could you describe him?
Yeah, he's tall, brown hair, he works with his hands, so his hands are rough.
I try to recall the clothes of the body that I helped take to the Undertaker, and is there any features that come to mind?
They were plain clothes, kind of on the not so fancy side, worn clothing.
I mean, like, did he have like a patch on his jacket in some location that I can use to identify it?
Oh, his shirts were probably patched up in places.
So in that case, I would say to her, did he have a red colored patch on the elbow, on the left elbow?
Yeah, he did. You seen him?
I'm sorry to say, ma'am, there was an incident last night. Perhaps you should wait for the sheriff to return.
What kind of incident?
Is the preacher still in the room?
I think so. Her eyes are getting wet.
Man, LP's going to take that opportunity to exit stage left.
Jalen's silent looking at the preacher for some kind of assistance here.
Nothing happened to him, did it?
I think he was shot, ma'am. I think it might have been him.
But why?
There was some sort of incident. There was two others that were there at the time that ran away and left him behind. I took his remains to the Undertaker, so if you wish to go there, I'll accompany if you wish. Maybe see if that is him.
She turns and runs out, crying.
I better follow.
You follow. She doesn't run too fast, so she doesn't really leave you that far behind. But she definitely goes up to the Undertaker's door and starts pounding on the door. And the Undertaker, who didn't stay at the meeting long after everybody left anyway, is just opening up the door as you get there. Yes, May I help you? And she pushes past him. Miss? And then he looks at you.
I explain it to him.
Oh, dear. And he turns and walks in, and she's over the body crying incoherently.
Probably going to take a little bit for her to catch her breath, actually.
Yeah. All right, so Evan is with Lowell. He's not saying anything on this carriage ride. He seems to be intently staring in the direction that they are going, like he wants this thing to move faster, but knows that it doesn't really. Not comfortably, anyway.
Did they say anything about what's wrong with your man?
No, except they found him in a pool of, well, rather messily killed.
Oh, so it is another death.
Yeah. They didn't say much more other than they found him in bed.
In bed?
And the doctor is also sitting there next to you. Yes, well, could be any number of things. Any number of things that cause a hole in your gut? Yes, well, I guess it would be better to wait until I see him.
I don't know if that would be the man I shot last night. I mean, that's a pretty good distance to travel with that kind of wound in you. If it was that bad, I don't think I'm not sure how hard I hit him. He ran shortly after I hit him. So.
Oh yes, with the shooting last night.
Yes.
Lawlessness is running rampant in town these days.
The sheriff and I have found a few interesting things going on with that. Not sure yet. We're still connecting clues. We'll put it that way. But we have found some evidence, at least. We are making progress on that.
I wish you luck. Anything that ends this faster.
Oh, with that, I do completely agree. Hence why I agreed to be your deputy. I saw the need there and the town's need.
Yes, as such, I think I should get to know you at least. What is your name, young man?
Oh, I apologize for not sure. I am Evan Stone.
Evan Stone. You're new in town, aren't you? It's not a name I recognize.
No, I'm mostly a bit of a traveler. I've been around the country a bit here and there, so decided I needed to find a place maybe to call home, possibly. So I was trying out the place and starting to like the town. And then all this stuff happens, of course, but it's still not a bad town.
He nods. Hopefully you'll do good for us.
Well, with that, I will do my best.
And where did Sunny go when she walked away? Is she still in the saloon, or did she leave?
No, she's still in the saloon. She just walked to a table, not at the bar. Yeah, farther away, just to stop interacting with the two, especially to get away from the vomit smell.
Mr. Campbell walks up. I'm going to be getting back to the ranch. I guess I'll see you in the morning tomorrow.
Of course, sir. As usual.
Enjoy the evening. And he turns to the other coworker that's with you. Margaret, enjoy the evening. And he walks out. Several of the other people that were in here for the meeting are starting to, disperse now. What is LP doing?
LP he walks outside just to see where the fresh widow is going. And once she disappears into the undertaker's office, he's going to turn around, go back into the hotel, keep some tabs on Sunny over there, but other than that, I'm not sure what else I can do. Oh, is the proprietor of the hotel there?
Yes, he's there.
I would like to go speak with him about Cynthia.
Okay. He is directing getting the tables moved back into place and stuff, shoving some of the big ones.
All right.
He stops when you approach, though.
Good afternoon, sir. I was speaking with Lynn this morning, and she happened to say that Cynthia did not arrive at work last night. Is that true?
That is true.
Is that out of sorts for her, perhaps?
Yes, it is.
I see. She wouldn't happen to have a gentleman caller that she walks out with regular, does she?
Oh, he kind of wrings his hands. She used to.
Ah, I see. That would not have happened to be Mr. Cook, would it?
Yeah, he came calling for her from time to time.
And of course, finding his dearly departed form hanging from that tree did her constitution no benefit.
Right. So she didn't say anything beforehand, but I kind of understand why she didn't show up last night.
Indeed.
I was going to send Lynn to check up on her in a little bit here once we finish up.
If it pleases you, sir, I would like to go with Lynn as she is checking up on Miss Cynthia.
He kind of looks you up and down, almost like that fatherly look. I suppose that would be all right.
LP will offer a wan smile and hide a cough. Thank you, sir. I feel it would be best if I paid my respects to Miss Cynthia.
Very well. Lynn can show you the way. I can handle the rest here.
Yes, thank you, sir. I will ensure they are both returned to you without undue harm or stress upon their constitution.
And Lynn kind of looks relieved that she's getting out now. She has a room over in the boarding house. I'll show you where.
Appeal not. Off we go.
All right, Father James. The meeting is dispersing. People are leaving. Jalen followed the crying lady to the Undertaker.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought the Undertaker or the crying lady was happening at the saloon. I apologize. I misunderstood.
It did. And then she ran out.
Okay, hold on. I'm confused. I thought the meeting was in the boarding house, not the saloon.
No, meeting's in the saloon. Everybody was in the saloon.
I apologize. I was confused. I would have actually, since Jalen seems to be consoling the woman, I would have helped put the tables back, move things around, being helpful, basically.
They do appreciate it. Give me a cognition roll.
Apparently, I can find 6 today. Actually, I'm looking at it. It's a 6 and a 5.
Yes. It's not quite enough. You're hearing some snippets of something, but you're not making out some of the specific details. I don't know if you'd like to re-roll that or not.
No, I'm fine right now. It seems like there's enough rumors and other things going on that if they want to tell the new preacher, they will.
Yeah, it's just two people as they're moving a table back into place, kind of whispering. One of them has the tone like, "Hey, do you remember when?" type of thing, but you don't actually make out what they're saying. All right, the carriage pulls up to the ranch. People help Doc Ross and Evan out, as well as Mr. Lowell. How many ranks does Evan have in cognition? What's his score there?
Cognition?
Yeah.
4.
Okay. One thing that is immediately obvious is that as you're looking around, people are not walking around alone. There's not a whole lot of work going on since the meeting was going on. A lot of people were in town and are now arriving. But just for menial tasks, it looks like somebody's going to a well, which normally doesn't need help, yet somebody's with them. And as people are moving around, even now that it's, close to noon, there's a whole lot of glancing over their shoulder type of thing. It looks like people are just generally wary of something. They're worried or something.
I'll look at him. Your people seem a bit scared, worried. This has got him spooked.
And a lady comes running out of the house. "Oh, Mr. Lowell, I'm glad you're back. This way." It was Devin. And she kind of walks into the house, and the doc follows him. I assume you do too?
Yes.
They walk into the house, and this house is nice. I mean, this is one of the bigger residences around the area. Lots of space, and it goes into a kind of a side wing that becomes apparent that this is like some of the hands, not the actual family or anything. And as you go down this hallway, the smell gets to you first. and it's not a smell that Evan is used to or familiar with, but it is very strong and pungent, and I need a guts roll from you.
Ew. Oh, I was like, where's my guts?
And I also need one from Mr. Lowell.
I got 5.
A 5 is enough. You manage to keep everything where it belongs as the smell overwhelms you, and the door is opened slowly, and the guts roll is enough to overcome this too. You see a body laying on the bed. The bed is completely red with blood. The floor is not so bad, actually. Surprisingly enough, it seems to just have soaked into the bed itself. And there is a body laying there. The sheet is pulled down. He is wearing his night clothes. And from his shirt, there is a rather large hole. And in his stomach, there is a rather large hole.
Wait, there's a hole in his shirt? And this is like his nightshirt?
Yes.
Oh, well, okay. I will look at it. Well, I think that disproves anything of him being the guy from last night. I don't think he was wearing a nightshirt when in the middle of a gunfight. What is this?
The Doc Ross walks up to him and calmly kind of leans closer and starts looking at him. He checks a pulse. He lifts his eyelids, gets down close to his mouth and nose. And then he does a rather disturbing thing in that he reaches his hand down into the hole and starts to feel around a bit.
Is that safe, Doc?
I don't see why not. Looks like whatever did this is long gone.
So this hole, how big is it? I mean, obviously big enough to put his hand in, but is it bigger than that or just about that size?
It's slightly bigger than his fist.
Is he dead already?
Oh yeah, he's dead.
I see.
He's cold. He died, I'm guessing, some hours ago. He starts to lift the body, roll it slightly to one side and then the other. Actually, less blood than it appears. It just looks like it's spread around a bit. Expression on his face is rather peaceful. It doesn't look like he was in pain, so he might have died suddenly or been asleep.
Yeah. I'm going to look around the room. Does it look like something was forced in the room? Does it look like the door had been locked or anything like that?
It's hard to tell what the door was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was assuming there's no damage to the door. That's what I'm checking.
There's no damage to the door, no.
Okay.
The window is open. The shutters are open, rather, and the window is on, swinging panes, and they're open.
Okay. I'll look around the window, see if there's any signs of a forcing of the entry there, or even a blood, like an odd blood spot that's away from the scene, away from the bed area. That's what I'll be looking for. Something that
give me a cognition check. And this is probably going to have to be pretty high.
Is it? Okay. 16.
All right, that's high enough. Looking at the window, you happen to see that the curtains, I guess it'd be curtains, seem to have a few strange holes in them and stress marks, almost like the thread has been pulled out a bit, and the holes are, small, almost like button-size holes in a shirt. There's a few of those scattered around it. There is a small smear of blood on the windowsill, and on the outside, it looks like, looking at it, it looks like maybe something fell onto the dirt or the ground just outside of the window, but there's nothing there to indicate what it might have been.
How, is it? Is this the second floor?
No, it's the first single story.
Okay. I'll look at the. What's the guy's name again? I forget his name.
Mr. Lowell?
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Lowell.
Yes.
I think I found something a bit odd. I wonder if our assailant, whoever it may be, came in through this window here.
He walks over.
Yeah, I'll show him what I found.
That is very interesting. And then the doc speaks up. Actually, I think in that case, maybe your assailant left through the window.
What do you mean?
Whatever did this was internal. His rib cage is broken and expanded, and the tear marks around this wound look like something clawed its way out.
Wait, what? Come on, Doc. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look around. I recall hearing something about this. Something like this, but I don't remember where.
Like he had a creature inside of him or something?
Maybe.
That is disgusting. And not at all what I expected when I came here. Okay, well, I see, sir, your people are probably right to be concerned. Yes, you know what? You should keep them paired up for the moment, and maybe have them report anything strange going on as soon as they see it, and not to mess with it. If it's something like this, it's got claws, so that could be very very dangerous depending on what it is.
I see. The window's open. You start to hear concerned shouting from outside the window.
Of course, it's going to happen before we get a chance. I will go ahead and hurry out to find out what's going on.
Mr. Lowell follows you. It seems that there is one of the younger members, probably a young man in his 15, 16-year-old range or whatever. Oh, Mr. Lowell, one of the cows it just fell over. It was weird. They don't, but the other ones are spooked. They ran. So Pete's out there trying to round them up. But the cat, I don't know. Something was moving.
Come on, you left the boy out there by himself. Okay, let's go. Show me where.
Who are you, mister?
Deputy Stone. I guess that's what he called himself.
He looks at Mr. Lowell. We got a new deputy? Just show the man where it is. Oh, right, this way. And he goes running out, and Mr. Lowell follows him. And Doc Ross is probably coming up the rear slowly. And he kind of leads you. It's a good 5-minute walk, even at an increased pace that the kid has taken. As you get out into this field, you do see a small herd of cattle kind of off to the side with a young man standing over them, keeping them in line now. But the kid kind of leads you off to the side. It's over here. It was acting weird.
Can I see it?
Making weird noise. You can see a lump off, about maybe 50 yards away at the moment.
I pull my gun. Stay here.
Okay.
And find your friend. Is he? Do I see his friend anywhere or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
You passed him.
Okay, good. All right. So he's safe. Okay. So I'll approach cautiously.
Okay.
As I approach, I'll look for any signs of clawed marks. If it's walking, it's got claws, maybe something like that. Clearly, something different than cow hoofs or blood marks. If it tried to attack the cow, maybe it's got blood on its hands.
No, you don't see any signs of anything leading up to the cow.
Okay.
But you do see the cow. It's kind of laying on its side.
All right. Well, it came through the stomach of the man, so maybe the stomach of the cow. So I'll kind of circle to where I could see the stomach of the cow with my gun drawn ready.
All right. You kind of circle around it. Mr. Lowell, did you tell him and the kid to stay back or just the kid?
Yeah, I told them to stay back.
Okay, so he's staying back with the kid. And you are circling around. You see this cow kind of laying on its side. It doesn't seem to be moving. How close are you going to get?
Okay, but I don't see a hole or an entry or anything like that, like with the guy.
No.
Okay. Does it look like it's still breathing?
It's hard to tell.
Okay. So it's not breathing heavy if it is. It's hard to tell at the moment whether it is or not. Okay. I will not go directly in front of its stomach. I'll actually circle to the head, but where I can see the stomach, and check it. Let's check to see if it looks like it's still alive from its head.
All right, give me a cognition roll.
Okay, 13.
13. You don't hear breathing. As you look at it, it doesn't seem to be moving. The chest is not rising and falling. And then you hear a very subdued series of bone cracks.
I take a few steps back on this one. And I'm going to keep my target on the stomach, as that's where it came out last time. And we'll see if it still does.
All right. So you're sitting there with your gun drawn on it, and you notice first like something poking from the inside of the neck, not the stomach.
Oh, the neck. Oh. That's a thin part. I wonder if I could just shoot from here. You know what? I might just do that. I don't want to see what this thing comes out as. Can I target the poking and try to shoot it from there?
You can try, yes.
Any negative or no?
No. Nothing disclosed anyway.
5.
All right. You fire off a shot and you hit the neck. There is a small splatter of blood. The cow does not react.
Okay. And
at that point, something extends through the neck and pulls, and I need another guts check. This one is going to be at -2.
I will use a white to give myself another die.
Okay.
Still holds at the -2, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I've already got 1 anyway, so. Oh, come on. I could continue to use a white, right?
Yes, you can keep spending whites.
It's still only a 4. Dang it. Let's see how many whites I got. I spent 1. That was 2?
That was 2, yes. You can spend a red or a blue to add.
I've got a red. All right. I'll do a red. Oh, I got an 8 on it.
All right, you can roll that again.
Oh my goodness.
All right, you can roll it again if you want, but you don't have to. You're at
okay.
17 plus 4, 21.
Number.
All right. This is disturbing, but it doesn't disturb you that much, as these hooked claws seem to extend through the throat and kind of pull. And what you see is the biggest tick you've ever seen pull itself out of the throat of this cow. It's probably the size of maybe a grapefruit. And it starts to kind of scuttle away from you.
Oh, I want to shoot it. I really want to shoot this thing.
You may shoot it.
12.
12 is going to hit it. With its size modifier, a 12 is even going to get you a raise. So go ahead and roll your damage.
Lower guts.
Holy cow. Okay. So you shoot this thing, and it just explodes in a pool of, in a splatter of blood that it was, in its abdomen. It was carrying, overstuffed, I guess.
Oh.
But you definitely end it. It's not moving after that.
I slowly approach it. Is there anything left of this thing, or is it is there a body still that I could collect?
There's a part of a body.
Okay. I will yell out, "We're clear, but I need a bag or something to put this thing in." Actually, got a pot or something?
A pot?
Yeah. It'll probably soak through the bag.
I don't want to ruin a good pot.
That's true.
What is it?
It's a big bug.
He comes over and he's taking off his jacket.
It's a big bug, like a tick.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I am actually curious. I think that we should have the doc check the rest of the cattle too to make sure. I'm not sure. Clearly, the men have the man had it as well. Maybe we should find. I wish we had found signs of this. maybe we should have a discussion with some of the workers that worked with your man in there, find out what he was doing, and maybe have the anyone working with him checked out as well.
That's probably a good idea.
But I want to keep this for the sheriff to see as well when she gets here. But I don't want. Let's keep this. Tell them to keep this field clear until we get a better feel of what's going on. Plus, I don't. The rest of the cattle, that were with this one, I would keep separate from any other cattle groups, just to be on the safe side as well.
Right, I'll see to it. And he turns to start going, and you see the sheriff riding up towards you guys.
I wave her towards me.
She looks a little confused as to why you're out here as she's riding up, but she dismounts. Well, Stapleton, I saw your man.
So I don't think this is related to the incident in town, which is both good and bad. I don't know how you would describe that. Having two things to deal with, though, is kind of a mess. Take a look at this thing, and I'll show her the bug. It came out of the cow.
Now that it's dead, it's not quite as terrifying as it was when it was alive, so. Wonderful.
There's also one of these wandering around, because I don't think this is the same one that was in the boy on the bed. So one of these critters is wandering around.
Prairie ticks, wonderful.
What's a prairie tick? I don't think. Well, actually, have I heard of that?
No.
Okay. So what's a prairie tick?
She points at the bug.
Okay, fair enough. But do we other?
They are. Oh, we need to figure out where their nest is. Stapleton, find out where your man was out at.
Yeah,
sometimes they do travel, so that's no clear indication, but it gives us a place to start.
So I'm guessing they implant their young in people and animals?
She looks kind of resigned and frustrated. They kind of emerge from their nest at the sounds of activity, cattle, horses, and then they try to get inside you. They drink up your blood and then take it back to the queen.
That does not sound good.
No, it does not. If it's a small nest, it might be containable. If it's a large nest, we have to prepare for more casualties.
Do they have signs? Is there treatment if they got one inside of them?
Yes, there is. I don't think we're equipped to handle it. I'll have to check at the general store. It's only rumors now, but they say castor oil will force it out, but it's not a pretty sight.
Well, I guess we should get as much up here as we can to treat anyone. Are there any signs like beforehand, like a fever or anything like that?
No, but she kind of looks, kind of shrugs, and it's kind of hard to miss them getting inside of you. I think they crawl in through the mouth, so anybody would know that happened to them, unless they were asleep at the time.
You mean, but there's little ones then that crawl in through the mouth, and then they get bigger as they stay inside you?
Oh yeah.
I see. Cattle, sadly, may not notice it as much.
I have no way of alerting anybody.
Yeah. Well, I told him to make sure the cattle that was with this group is away from the rest of them, just in case, and we'll have to keep an eye on them.
Probably a good idea. Quarantine your cattle, Stapleton. Yes, Miss Dale. I already planned on it.
I was going to go talk to his men that were with him, and maybe we can get an idea. So I'll do that. Not sure what you wish to do with that thing.
Best burn it.
All right.
Back at town, the lady is kind of a little bit more calm now. Still very distressed and very crying, but she has come to accept the fact that her Freddy is no more. How could anybody do this to him?
You're gonna have to talk to the sheriff about that. You can talk with the pastor to arrange ceremony.
Oh, okay. But I don't want to leave him. And the Undertaker is kind of looking a little put out. Kind of unsure what to say and what to do other than just kind of like, okay. Yeah, don't leave him then. All right. In the saloon then. Jalen and the distraught young lady have not come back. So LP, what are you doing?
LP was waiting for Lynn, and they were going to go to...
That's right. You're going to the boarding house.
Yes.
You guys are getting to the boarding house. She walks in, goes up to the second story, down to the hallway and knocks on the door. This is her room. Cynthia. And she knocks again.
I suppose it is time to try the door.
The door has a simple lock on it.
Let's see. Well, unfortunately, I don't have any lock picking. Suppose it's time to find the proprietor of the boarding house and see if they've got a master key.
You think something's wrong with her?
Well, if she did not arrive back to work last night, and she is not answering this morning, and we have had several instances of foul play, yes, something may be up. So if the proprietor does have a key, I believe it is time for us to investigate if she is just so distraught she cannot hear your calling, or if something more sinister has occurred.
Oh, I think Holly's downstairs then.
Then let us go find him.
In fact, Holly is downstairs.
Yes. I require a key for entry into Miss Cynthia's room. You see, we are trying to find her to offer our regards, since it was her betrothed who was hanging from the tree yesterday, and she is not answering. We fear the worst.
Oh, Cynthia? Oh, yes, okay. She kind of goes into a back room, comes back out. Yeah, I'll open the door and check.
Yes, please do.
Lynn, was everything all right? Yeah, she didn't show up after John. Oh, that's right, John. I didn't think about that. And she kind of, is talking as she walks back up to the door. And she opens up the door and opens up the door for you guys.
Well, I would like to take a look inside.
Inside is a small room with a lady sleeping in a bed, kind of bundled up, I guess. Kind of rolls over as the door is opened up and go away. And she kind of turns over.
I can see her face now?
You can, no, she turns away. She puts her back towards the door.
Miss Cynthia, Lynn is here to speak with you, and also I wish to speak with you in regards to your betrothed, if you have the time.
I don't want to talk to anybody. Go away.
Now, I understand this is a very trying time, but unfortunately, there may be something worse going on, and we wish to inquire as to the status of your health and your...
She reluctantly sits up, holding a blanket to her, and puts her feet out of bed, and she raises her head and looks up at you, and her eyes, are just bags under her eyes. They're red. She looks as though she's been crying. What do you want?
I wish to know about your betrothed.
What is there to know?
Everything, darling. I know nothing of the man.
She kind of sniffs. There's nothing to know anymore.
Does she look familiar at all? Was she holding a rifle and pointing it through the saloon door last night, perhaps?
Nobody saw her holding a rifle pointing it through the saloon door.
Okay.
She is familiar to you, though. You do remember her screaming when you walked out that morning and saw the body.
True.
She does have blonde hair, coincidentally.
Now, as I said, darling, I am very sorry to hear about your husband-to-be. Can you tell me, where were you yesterday after discovering that grisly scene?
I was here, crying.
Well, then certainly you must be famished. Dehydrated. You must need some food and water.
I don't want to eat anything.
Now, darling, I understand you do not want to, but I believe you need to. Even Lynn here would agree with me on that.
Oh yeah, he's right. You need to take care. You can't just sit here and it never work. I don't care.
Take a quick look around the room. What have we got in here?
In here, you have a wardrobe on the side. There is a full-length mirror on the one of the walls. It's a stand mirror, actually, next to the wall. The window is closed. The curtains are drawn. There is a stand with a few little knickknacks, collectible figure type of things, ugly things, but they're sitting there. Some boots in the corner, some nice shoes in the corner, a wash basin. The clothing that you remember her wearing yesterday when you saw her is just kind of in a heap on the floor.
Okay, nothing really out of the ordinary. Miss Cynthia, I don't mean to be untoward, but I did come from the hotel, and the proprietor is very worried about you. When do you think you will be able to be seen about in public again?
Now, that's a hard one to answer.
I'm full of hard questions.
I don't care if I'm never seen again. Johnny was everything. We were going to leave this place.
Really? Where were you planning to go?
Virginia City?
I see. Try your hand at silver mining, perhaps?
No, he didn't like cattle. And cattle's all there is here.
Well, it seems fairly odd he would be so integral with the dealing of cattle and not liking it so much.
That's probably why he didn't like cattle.
And you were planning to leave soon, I take it?
She shrugs. Soon, when we could save up. Wasn't happening soon enough.
Well, then, he wouldn't have happened to have gotten with any trouble with moneylenders, would he?
No, you didn't have money trouble. Gambled some of it away. Lost quite a bit the other night. I wasn't too happy about that. But in general, no.
And he did not take his rooms with you? Quartered at the ranch he worked at?
Yeah. He stayed here some nights, but he stayed at the ranch.
And was he to stay with you the night before you found him?
No, we didn't have plans that night. She kind of rubs her eyes, looks up at you. Who are you?
LP will offer a wan smile and hide his face behind his hand for a second as he coughs. I'm just a concerned man about town, Miss Cynthia.
What's it to you? Did you know John? I don't remember him mentioning you.
He was merely a man that I saw hanging from a tree, and that piqued my curiosity. And as there are several events transpiring about town, I took it upon myself in my idle time to see if I could at least unravel one of the mysteries befallen Liberty, Montana.
I see. Well, since it's clear you're not going to leave me alone, would it help if I told you I will get dressed and go to work? Will that get you to leave me alone?
He'll smile again. I do believe it would.
Fine.
Tip my hat to her, tip my hat to Lynn, and I'm heading back to the bar.
She's like staring daggers at you as you leave.
If she looks very closely, she might be able to see that I don't care.
She might. And a moment after you leave, Lynn follows you, and you do hear the sounds of activity from inside the room as you're leaving. Well, that went well.
I suppose it did.
I hate to see her that way, but she can't just sit there and do nothing. She just wastes away that way.
Yes, and that would be a tragedy. At least this way she may find a way to move on. If not for Johnny boy, at least for herself.
Yeah. I don't know what she saw in him.
Well, what does anybody see in anybody else? There is a spark of mystery within the breast of every man and woman that can only be seen by one other. And apparently she had seen the spark of mystery within.
All right. Who is still in the saloon?
I believe that Father James still is, because he was cleaning up.
Sonny is. Yeah.
All right. Both of you make me a cognition roll.
I'm cognizant of all.
I love being oblivious.
You are very oblivious.
That is a 13 and a 7.
Why 2 numbers? I just need 1.
I was just pointing out that I actually rolled high on.
As the room is finally getting settled again. Furniture's back where it's supposed to be. People are starting to come in and order drinks again, and poker table is getting set up, and so a game is getting started. And 2 people are walking out, and Father James, you distinctly hear one of them say, "That's right. It was last month on the 17th that they found that man hanging." And we will end it there. Deadlands, The Weird West, artwork, logos, and the Pinnacle logo are copyright 2018 Great White Games, LLC, DBA Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Music from the Deadlands soundtracks used with permission. You can visit their website, www.peginc.com, to purchase Deadlands the 20th Anniversary Edition and other Deadlands materials. Relative Dimension is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial 4.0 International License. You can share us, but please give us credit. If you would like to get in touch with the Relative Dimension, you can visit our website at relativedimension.com. You can contact us, email, at podcast@relativedimension.com. You can visit our Facebook at facebook.com/relativedimensionpodcast. You can check us out on Twitter at RelativeDpod. You can check out our Patreon if you wish to support us at patreon.com/relativedimension.